like. Hello everyone, and welcome to Applebee's Next Top Function. Today we have 3 contenders for you. Our first contender is T of x equals x. Our second contender is M of x equals x squared. And our last and jury's favorite contender is this rational function. We're sitting here behind the scenes with Shannon, and we're going to ask her some questions about her field. So Shannon, what was your favorite function that you've worked with?
I think my favorite function that I've worked with throughout my experience is definitely f of x equal 2x squared plus 16x plus 5. Yeah.
And why was that function your favorite?
Because she shows a lot of she require like a lot of skills for me to work with. It's very fun to work with this function, and it's also challenging, which make this experience more fun, and it's definitely a great experience for me.
Well, thank you, Shannon. Hope you have a nice day judging the rest of the contestants.
Thank you. So let's look at this y-intercept for this function. We first substitute 0 into the x variable, and then we got 23 over 16, which is 1.4375. Look at this number, it's so amazing and wonderful and beautiful number. And let's look at this x-intercept for this function. We first substitute 0 into let's look at this y-intercept for this function. We first substitute 0 in the y variable, and then we use the quadratic formula, which is x equal negative b plus or minus roots square roots of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. When we substitute all these numbers, we get the first x-intercept is 1.879, and then the second the second x-intercept is 6.121. And look at these amazing calculation for this function. It's magnificent. So this is Abby, one of the judges in our contest. And hi Abby, I heard that you got your PhD from asymptote of function. Is that correct?
Yeah, I used to think I wanted to work in intercepts, but then once I started working in intercepts, I realized asymptote was my true calling.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What's the function that you have encountered that most interests you in terms of the asymptotes?
I worked with the function a few years ago, and she had a y-intercept at 100, and I think it was just great to see the fashion industry changing. You know, we normally saw intercepts at 2, 3, 4, but to see one at 100, it was just crazy to see the diversity changing in the fashion industry.
And we have mx, tx, and d of x as all of our contestants this year. Which function do you think has the most potential in winning this Applebee's Next Top Function?
Well, if you were to ask me this question 10 years ago, I'd probably say one of the simpler functions, but the fashion industry is really changing, and they're really looking for a more unique and different function. So if I had my pick, I would probably say the rational function, because she just brings so much more to the table, just different in every way. Her asymptotes, her intercepts, yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. So, hi guys, my name is Abby, and I will be talking about the asymptotes of this function. I've been studying asymptotes for many years. I have my PhD. So I'm first going to talk about the vertical asymptote. And to find the vertical asymptote, you have to figure out where the denominator is going to be equal to 0. So what I first did is I factored the function, and here you can see it, and you get x minus 4. And so I know that x cannot equal 4, or else the denominator will be 0. So I know that I'm going to have a vertical asymptote at x equals 4. And then to find my horizontal asymptote, I take these two values and divide them by each other. So I go 2 over 1, and so I know my horizontal asymptote is going to be at 2. We're sitting here with Lorenz, and he's going to tell us about his time as a guru for functions. So Lorenz, have you ever modeled in any Applebee's Next Top Functions pageants yourself?
Thanks for having me, Shannon. No, I have not. This is not my tutorial to work in. It's more, my skill is more helping others achieve their goals and showing their way to make it to the top.
Oh, that's very nice of you. And if you were to say, what was your hardest experience helping a contestant?
I'd probably say like in 2018 when I, last month when I worked with my most recent function. Her name was f of x equals x plus 2. She did not have a lot of experience, and her attitude was really boring. Like there wasn't a lot to say about her, so I really had to show her how she can develop from x plus 2 into something more, to like not something better, more extraordinary.
Well, thank you, Lorenz. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thanks, Shannon and Abby, for your key points in this function. If we take a closer look at this function, we can see that this function is going to look like this. So we have the horizontal and vertical asymptote and the x and y intercepts, like Shannon and Abby told us about. Looking at the long run behavior, we can see that if x goes towards infinity, it will be 2, and going towards negative infinity, it will be 2 as well. And then looking at when the function is going towards 4, from positive and negative, both will be negative infinity. Therefore, the long run behavior for f of equals x equals 4 is going to be negative infinity as well. Jesus Christ. Okay, now we're going to take a closer look at the IROC. The IROC, we chose a point at 7 and 1. So if we put in our IROC function, we get that the instantaneous rate of change is 0.66 at 7.1 and 7.001.
Yeah. And the winner is
d of x.